Typically with the Rainmaker, if you look on the inside, there's a little plate here, and on it there will be a serial number for you. There will be a design number, so each Rainmaker unit has got a very specific, unique design number. We've got the P1 pressure, the P2 pressure. We've got the suction, how many gallons per minute it should be sucking. And then we've got the setting for the dosing pump, which in this case is 45%. And it is a 1:5 ratio that the setting should be on the dosing pump. Now, if we look at the unit itself, the basic checks is when we open it, we see that the lights are on. If the lights are on, we know we are good. There is no problem. Then we also got the hour meter, just to record so we know how many hours you have been irrigating. And then we've also got a specific amount of hours that these UV lights can be on, and then we need to change them out for new UV lights. Then the hydrogen peroxide gets dosed into the line with this little dosing pump. So if we look at the hydrogen peroxide pump, there's a specific setting, and the setting will be on the inside, and it will show you this example here is 45%, and we've got a ratio of 1:5 setting on the peroxide pump. So the way that we actually start it is we need to prime it to start off with. So to prime it, we will push this button for a couple of seconds, and you'll see there's a green light, and it will go to 1. So that's a 1-on-1 setting. Then we turn it to 100%, and you will hear it is pulsing very fast. And you will now start noticing the hydrogen peroxide that will actually be coming up this pipe here after a couple of seconds to a minute for the hydrogen peroxide to be sucked up. Okay. Important with the hydrogen peroxide, try and get your container with hydrogen peroxide as close as possible. Okay. Lift it a bit higher so that it doesn't have to suck that much. And then in general, just keep your piping as short as possible. For the priming, there's a little button on the side. We need to open this button, and it will then start pushing the hydrogen peroxide down this one first. Once the hydrogen peroxide is going through there, we close it again. So we just wait till the hydrogen peroxide come up. So that's what you do to prime it. You open that one. There's the hydrogen peroxide coming. If you've got a good enough ear, you'll also typically hear once the hydrogen peroxide comes here, the sound will change. Also, you will see this delivery hose start kicking because it is against a pressure that it is dosing it in. So once we see it's primed and it's kicking, we close this one. We hold this button in again for a couple of seconds, and it goes back to the 1:5, and we set it on 45% as per the design. Okay. Important with the hydrogen peroxide, from time to time as you start up the unit, come and just make sure that the prime is there, that it does have the hydrogen peroxide. Sometimes if it stands too long, the hydrogen peroxide is a reactive type of chemical, and it will start degassing. So if it's just sitting in the pipe, it might all actually degas, and then you just have to quickly reprime it again. But in a normal circumstances where you're irrigating on a constant, regular basis, it does not lose its prime. With the hydrogen peroxide, very important, it is a little bit corrosive on your hands and so on. It's not that dangerous, but your skin go white and it will burn a little bit. So when you work with it, always make sure you've got some water with you just to rinse your hands to get it clean. The hydrogen peroxide, the storage of it also important. We like to try to keep it in the shade out of the direct UV light, because the hydrogen peroxide even has a reaction with the UV light that's directly on it, and it starts degassing more. Then also the hydrogen peroxide that we are using in this instance, it's a non-stabilized 50% hydrogen peroxide. So with our application, the dosing of the hydrogen peroxide is 1 part per million. So in this instance, it's 50% concentration. It means of this specific fluid, we'll be putting in 2 parts per million to reach the 1 part per million of the hydrogen peroxide. So if we follow this line, you'll see it will go to the injection valve just on the other side of the venturi. The hydrogen peroxide is always introduced into the water, injected after the water has been saturated with ozone, never before the venturi. That's it.